Hello and welcome to another episode of How To with Pau Henderson. Today's video, I will be changing out my stock OEM transmission fluid thermal valve with the PPE thermal bypass valve. Now the reason why I'm replacing that valve with this valve is this is a flow-through design. There is no thermostat in here. So as that valve sits on the transmission right now, there's a thermostat inside there. So what that thermostat does is it keeps the oil within the transmission until it warms up, and when it warms up, that thermostat opens up and allows that fluid to flow to the cooler in the front of the vehicle and then back and forth. And then once that temperature gets cool enough, that thermostat closes and then it just keeps the oil within the transmission. Now some people are saying, or some mechanics on YouTube are saying that if you replace that thermal valve with this thermal bypass valve and change out the transmission fluid from the Mobil 1 black label to the Mobil 1 blue label, that will correct any shuddering. And hopefully that little bump that I get every now and then, I don't get it every day, but I do get it. So I'm not too sure. So I'm hoping that when I put this in, that'll correct that problem. So in the box here, you do not get much. All you get is, you get the instructions, which they tell you how to do it and everything, but they don't tell you the torque specs. So I'll tell you those in a little while. But here is the PPE transmission bypass valve. That is a solid billet aluminum block. And on the end of this block, you have this neodymium magnet to collect any ferrous metals. I think that's how you pronounce it. So that's a plus right there because the other valve does not have it. And this does. And there's a little washer on the end. You have the two little tubes that are all machined out of this one block that go into the transmission. Now, then the cooler lines go in here with the O-rings that are attached to the original lines. So it's pretty simple to do. All you need for this this part exchange is a 10mm ratchet or a 10mm socket, 13mm ratchet or a 13mm socket, and a screwdriver to open up the clip that holds the transmission line to the transmission. You'll also need a torque wrench and a swivel bit. This will be for the 10mm bolt. You're also going to need something to catch the fluid in for when you disconnect those two lines. There will not be much fluid coming out, but there will be a little bit, so grab something that's a decent size. The part number for the PPE bypass valve is S167671. The cost when I bought it was about 81 bucks. My truck is a 2019 Chevy Silverado All-Star Edition V8 with a 5.3 liter Ecotec 3 engine and disabled dynamic fuel management. Now my transmission is the 8L90E. Let me say it again, 8L90E. Now I'm going to go ahead and give you the specs now for the torques. Transmission line into this is 7 foot-pounds. This bolt here that holds it to the transmission is 16 foot-pounds. And if for some reason you have to remove that one bolt that holds the transmission fuller clip transmission line to the transmission, that bolt will be tightened down to 37 foot-pounds. But if you use a little flathead screwdriver, you can pop that clip open and then that releases the line from the clip. Now, this valve cost me $80 from AmericanTrucks.com. Now my transmission fluid, the highest that I've seen it get to was 192. It averages 176 to 185. So this is supposed to lower the temp by like 40 or 50 degrees. So I'm hoping that does do it because a lower temp fluid in the transmission will help save the transmission. Now I'm going to put up a screenshot here. So the features of this thermal bypass valve: protects the transmission from ferrous debris. I don't know, I can't pronounce that word. increases fluid flow. Because there is no thermostat in here, it's not going to be blocking the fluid from the transmission to the cooler in the front of the vehicle. It's made of billet aluminum construction, and like I said, includes a neodymium magnet, traps ferrous debris that can cause transmission blockage and damage, easy no drill installation, lifetime warranty, and it fits the 2019 to 2023 4.3 liter, 5.3 liter Chevrolet Silverado 1500 models with the 8L90 transmission. Now, it's getting pretty windy out here, so I don't know if you can hear it in the mic, but they said it was going to be windy. I didn't believe them. So now, and here's another screenshot. Improved transmission system. The PPE transmission fluid thermal bypass valve is a high quality bypass valve that plays a crucial role in protecting your transmission from the detrimental effects of the ferrous debris. Engineered to increase fluid flow, this bypass valve significantly reduces the possibility of transmission blockage and damage, ensuring the efficient operation and longevity of your vehicle's transmission system. So, I'm sure this is going to work. This is really heavy, and like I said, it is made out of a single block of billet aluminum. Should last the life of the vehicle. Now, they do recommend replacing the gasket that goes on here and the 2 O-rings, but that is only recommended if you live in a really dirty climate or snowy conditions where you drive with snow on the road and they use salt and stuff. Then you might want to replace that. I looked at mine is pretty clean, so I'm just going to use the original OEM gasket and O-rings that are on there right now. I did order some from GM Chevrolet, and I'll tell you which one and stock numbers for those. So then we'll get back to that screenshot. So billet aluminum construction. It's crafted from premium billet aluminum. The PPE transmission fluid bypass valve boasts remarkable durability, able to withstand the rigors of demanding vehicular operations. Its resilience is complemented by its included neodymium magnet equipped service plug feature, adapt to trapping ferrous debris. If I get that wrong, go ahead and make a comment. Let me know how exactly it's pronounced. Enhancing the overall protection of your transmission system. So, now, the part numbers for if you want to order the gasket and the O-rings before you actually install it. The transmission cooler pipe fitting seal, which is the 2 O-rings, is part number 12650609. And it's about 44 cents for each one. I'd go ahead and get like 4 of them. I ordered 2. And then the automatic transmission fluid pipe cooler fitting seal, which is the one that goes on this side right here, is part number 85628205, and that runs about $5.78. Now these prices are as of the time of this making of the video. So of course, years down the road, might be more expensive, might be more cheaper. I doubt if it'll be cheaper, but it'll be more expensive. So let's get underneath the vehicle and I'll show you how to install this PPE transmission fluid bypass valve. Can't forget the tools. So here's the cooler line clip. I already disconnected it, but to do it, you're gonna take a screwdriver, stick it right here in this little slot, and then twist the screwdriver. And then what you can try to do is push this part of the clip over, and then just should be able to pull it right down. And that frees the lines from the clip. I'm going to go ahead and bring the container over to catch the fluid. I'm going to go ahead and use a 10mm ratcheting wrench. And that's pretty easy to do right there. Now for the bolt that holds the valve onto the transmission. Both these bolts are not very tight. The hold down bolt is 17 foot-pounds and this one is 7. And as you can see, my trans fluid is nice and red. Now there are some O-rings right here. They're blue. Yeah, that's them. So you gotta take those out and those go back on these lines. And here's the gasket. The gasket is right up in here. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it up there, but I am gonna wipe it off. So let me go get some towels and I'll be right back. Okay, so remember you got to take these O-rings out of here, and these are going to go back onto the cooler lines. Now this just slides right back into where you took out the other one. You're going to use those same bolts. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to snug them down. I'm not going to do it totally tight right now. I'm going to go ahead and just get it ready, and I'll come back with a torque wrench. And the cooler lines just push back up in place. Let me go ahead and wipe it all off. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get that torque wrench, and I'll be right back. So I have the torque wrench set to 17 foot-pounds. There we go. I have the torque wrench set to 7 foot-pounds with a swivel. Right there. That's it. I'm going to go ahead and start up the truck and we'll see if it leaks. And be sure to tighten this down. I forgot. But as you can see, there are no leaks. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this clamp back together. I'm gonna go ahead and do one more wipe down. So as you can see, there are 0 leaks. I'll see you outside on the side of the truck. I'm out of breath. Well, that's a wrap up another how-to video with Pau Henderson. This one was the changing out of the stock OEM transmission fluid thermal valve with a PPE thermal bypass valve. And as you can see, it was pretty simple to do. And there were 0 leaks with me using the original OEM O-rings and gasket. Like I said, I did order some from, where did I order it from? gmpartstore.com. I will put a link to the gaskets and the PPE bypass valve in the description of the video. Inside of the stock OEM thermal valve, there's like a, I don't know, I'm gonna call it a thermostat. Maybe they call it something else, but that is inside here. That does take up space. So as the fluid goes in and then wants to go back out, some of that fluid is being restricted by that thermostat valve inside of there. So without that, it's going to be full amount of fluid going through this line and coming out this line and heading up to the transmission cooler in front of the vehicle. Now you do need to hold on to this. You want to keep it. You don't want to get rid of it. You never know, you might need it again. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this up and pack it away. Well, that's it, folks. If you like this, if you like this video, tap the like button, tap the subscribe button. It really helps out my channel, and the bell icon, and you get notifications as new videos come out. If you want to make a small donation to my channel, tap the super thanks button underneath the video. Anything I get goes right back into my channel. Anyway, that's it, and I will see you in the next video. And may your transmission fluid stay cool and not blow up like some of them already have, I guess. I don't know. I heard GM's had many problems with the transmission. So far, I haven't. Anyway, that's it, folks. See you later. Bye. Hello and welcome to another episode of How To with Pau Henderson. Today's video, I will be replacing my OEM, what do you call it? Hello and welcome to another episode of How To with Pau Henderson. Today's video, I will be replacing my OEM stock transmission fluid thermostat valve that is on the transmission. You'll also need a torque wrench and a 3/8" multi-swivel. Is that what they call that? Multi-swivel? The swivel's multi-ways. Test 1, test 2, test 3. I'm not going to be topping off the fluid because as you can see, dumbass. I'll get it eventually. The reason I'm out of breath is because I keep doing this scene over. So this is definitely going to make it in the bloopers. Out of breath. Well, that's it, folks. This is a wrap up on a how-to video with Pau Henderson. This one was the changing out of the stock OEM thermal valve with the PPE. I gotta go PPP. I gotta go PPP really bad. Anyway, that's it, folks. See you later.